I'm going to turn it over to Adam Leftik and John Rakowski to show you what we're doing and what we're up to in terms of unified monitoring. Please welcome them.
Wow. Thanks, David. So as David was talking, one of the things that really resonates with me is about moving fast without breaking things. And in order to do that, we built the AppIQ platform. We started with MapIQ, which is designed to automatically show you all your application topologies and distributed transactions. It enables you to understand what's going on inside of your business. Baseline IQ. Baseline IQ helps you understand when your application is going slow through dynamic baselining and removes the need for static thresholds. Diagnostic IQ. Diagnostic IQ is designed in production to give you rich diagnostic capability to help you understand what's going on. Now, for those of you who've been with AppDynamics for a while, know we're all a bunch of fashion plates, and we love retail, right? Well, not bad, right? So we were really excited today. We were launching our spring-summer men's collection, and the inevitable happened. So I ran into, and for those of you who've had the opportunity to meet Jeremy Duggan, our general manager of Europe, know he is the most discerning fashionista in the entire country. And of course, when he logged in to go get his new Tom Ford triple threat leather jacket, he got the spinning wheel of doom. So in order to help Jeremy get that beautiful Tom Ford jacket, John's going to help us use AppDynamics to troubleshoot this problem.
Thank you, Adam. So I've seen that Tom Ford leather jacket, and it does look amazing. So before we can start to resolve this problem, what we really first need to understand is how the AppDynamics application is architected. And I've got 3 ways in which we can do this. Number 1, I can ask you for an up-to-date Visio diagram.
Visio, come on.
Okay, number 2, and this could be a lot of fun, we can get all your architects into a room. No? Try to some consensus? No, that's not going to work.
This is a 2-day conference. It's not 2 months.
Okay.
Come on.
So that leads us on to the third option, which is definitely the best option and the quickest option, is to use the AppIQ platform and also MapIQ, so the performance engine, which is MapIQ. So what MapIQ does is that it tags and traces every single application transaction in order to produce a real-time dynamic visual architecture. And that's what we can see up on the screen in front of us. So this has been done within minutes. And effectively, what we see on the screen now is all the various tiers and nodes associated with the AppDynamics application, back-end databases, we can see message queues, and also we can see calls which are being made to third-party suppliers. So this is a great way of keeping on top of things like service-level agreements. Now, what one customer said to me only a couple of weeks ago when they first saw this, it's like switching the lights on in regards to your application. I was also with a prospect. I remember this is going back half a year, and the prospect said to me, "Hey, one of these nodes which is on the screen, that's part of a pre-production environment. But here's the thing when it comes to MapIQ. What you see on the screen is a single source of truth. Because we're tagging and tracking transactions, this is accurate. This is your back-end architecture when it comes to your application."
That's right. We knew from day one, MapIQ had to be automatic. It had to automatically discover your topology and all the distributed calls within your application. But we didn't stop there. We fundamentally knew we had to transform the way we monitor. Instead of overwhelming you with bottom-up metrics like CPU utilization, we introduced this concept called the business transaction through MapIQ, which helps you understand the actual semantics that you're monitoring. So John, maybe you can open up the business transaction viewer and show an example of what we're talking about.
Definitely. So the next step which MapIQ takes is that it automatically collects and correlates all those important interactions and transactions within the application, and it collects and correlates them into our patented atomic unit of measurement, which is the business transaction. So while when you're looking at monitoring an application, things like CPU, memory, network, those are all important. What's really important is what our application is doing, how it's driving value to the business. So at a glance here, we can see we've discovered a number of business transactions, and we can see exactly all the steps which are driving value for our customers and also for the business here.
Fundamentally changing the way we communicate with the business is what the business transaction is all about. Now, clearly, we've got a couple of issues going on here, fetch, catalog, and checkout. How is it that AppDynamics was able to determine that there were issues with these two transactions?
Let me switch back into this screen over here and switch on a little bit more information. So effectively, it takes us on to baseline IQ. So AppDynamics, right from the start, was architected for production environments. And what baseline IQ does is that it dynamically baselines every single application metric and every single business transaction. It gives them a score. And if I zoom in on the screen over here, we can see this transaction scorecard. So it gives them a score of normal, slow, very slow, stall, and even error states. This information is then used by our health rules to generate alerts. Now, what this means is that every alert in AppDynamics is business relevant. Every alert needs to be acted on by your support team. And actually, what it removes is problems of legacy monitoring tools and also point monitoring products, because many of those products rely on static thresholds, which means that you end up with alert storms. You end up with false positive alerts. Again, with AppDynamics, with baseline IQ, every alert is relevant.
That's right. We knew that having static thresholds was no longer going to work in these dynamic environments. We needed a way through baseline IQ to dynamically baseline and understand things like day of the week, month of the year, so that you can actually figure out when things are slow and it's relevant to you. But we started off with Jeremy having trouble getting his Tom Ford jacket. So can we get back to the task at hand and actually do some troubleshooting?
No problem. In order to do that, I want to switch your attention to the dashboard which we have up on the screen. So many of our enterprise customers now are taking this notion of the business transaction and creating customer journey dashboards. So you can see here we've logically laid out all the elements of the APDY customer journey, right from the web digital channel through fetch, catalog, add to cart, and checkout. And we can see we've got these two problems which are impacting us. The first problem we're going to resolve, though, is the fetch catalog issue. So I'm going to show you now, within a couple of clicks and only a couple of minutes, how we can resolve this problem very quickly. So I'm going to start the mean time to resolution timer. And typically in the enterprise, for a severity 1 issue, it can take up to a business day to resolve. So let's click on the fetch catalog and see how easy it is. So that now takes me into the fetch catalog business transaction view. So what I can see on the screen now is just the architecture components involved with the fetch catalog business transaction. So straight away, in one click, I've narrowed down our focus. We're now seeing only the components which are involved with this business transaction. We've removed all those other components which we could see before.
So this helps you focus, and from day one, we've always been about trying to remove all the cognitive noise within the system so that you can focus and hone in on what's important and relevant to you. And you're not wasting time spinning your wheels like we've done in the worms. I know all of you spend hours in there. So now, can we drill in and actually take a look and figure out what's going on here?
Exactly. So on the second click, we're going to kick in Diagnostic IQ. So what Diagnostic IQ does is that when there's a performance degradation, when there's a problem which starts to emerge in regards to a change in business normal performance, Diagnostic IQ starts to take some very detailed snapshots about what was happening in the code at that particular moment in time. So the procedures being called, the functions being called, which all helps then to resolve this problem very, very quickly. And we can see a number of snapshots have been created here.
Yeah, these are horrible. So let's drill in and take a look at one of these snapshots here.
Okay, so on the next click, that takes us down to our transaction snapshot viewer. So we've narrowed down our focus even more now, because what we're looking at is a specific flow map, again for check catalog, but we're also seeing a point-in-time experience for one particular customer now. So we can see the execution time over here is extremely slow, over 23 seconds. That customer's probably gone somewhere else to buy that leather jacket now. And if I click on more details, I can also see that we can get down to log file level. So Diagnostic IQ, because we're a unified monitoring platform lets us correlate all the way down to the log file. So you don't have to run any complex queries in order to interrogate what's going on in that log file. The other thing which Diagnostic IQ does is, over here, is we can also see that it's bubbling up a number of potential issues. So through its heuristics, it understands what's going on in terms of timings, and straight away, so now we're within 3 clicks, we can see where the potential issue is starting to occur. We can see it's a database issue which is causing this issue.
Right, so Diagnostic IQ really helps you drill in, get correlated views into what's going on in your production environment. And clearly, there's a really silly piece of SQL there. Looks like we're missing a where clause. Can we drill in and figure out, where in the code this is being called from?
Yeah. So this takes us now into the call graph. So what Diagnostic IQ does is that it breaks down every element of code, procedure, and function being called at this specific moment in time, and gives it a timing. So again, we can verify that we've got a Spring Bean action here, and it's taken over 23 seconds, which again is pointing towards this database issue.
So Diagnostic IQ is really showing us here that we're able to detect through this business transaction, fetch catalog, that there's a struts action at the top of the stack, and we can drill all the way down. And this has always been what we've been about, helping you get rich, deep diagnostics and code-level visibility in production environments. And clearly, you can see now we're able to trace all the way through, and there's this silly piece of SQL that we're going to have to go hand off to the developer. But now we know who to go engage with, and now you can go get this remediated so that we can get Jeremy his jacket.
Exactly, and this is really the power of unified monitoring, because we're doing this through one platform. We not only can give you an indication of where the problem's occurring, but we tell you why it's occurring. So if you look at many point monitoring solutions out there, they'll give an indication that there's a database issue. But now we're getting right down to the actual query, which is being executed here. We can send this off to our developer, and obviously get that resolved and make sure that Jeremy gets his jacket.
Great. So we had trouble with the checkout transaction as well as fetch catalog. Let's use Diagnostic IQ now to show the audience how we can actually zoom back out and understand the business impact of this outage from measuring it from an end user module and understand how the impact of this performance issues hitting our devices.
Yeah, so we also had that emerging problem with checkout. And in the same way on the back end, we get deep diagnostics, we also get this on the front end from an end user's experience or customer's experience. Because Diagnostic IQ also takes very detailed information in regards to things like how long it takes to run personalization scripts, how long it takes for images to appear up on the screen for the customer. We also are able to track the full customer journey, the full user session. So we can see the steps that the user or the customer has gone through while using the AppDynamics application. Now, you can see as we kind of move through here, when we get to cart view, things are taking extremely a long time, over 6 seconds, again, which is extremely slow. But in a future release of the AppIQ platform, we're going to go one step further, because not only are we going to show you these performance resource timings, we're also going to show you exactly what your customer's seen on the screen. So if I open this up over here, we can see that our customer, Patrick Smith, was actually trying to buy quite a comfort blazer.
Well, that's a nice blazer.
It looks pretty nice. It looked pretty good on you, Adam, I think,
yeah,
that one.
I think I would.
Yeah, he's trying to buy this comfort blazer, and we can actually see, as we kind of move through here, where the problem's starting to occur. So if I open up this screenshot over here, we can see that this customer is having a problem with checkout, they're going through processing order, and again, this looks like it's linked to our catalog issue because they're having a problem with the back-end inventory.
This has been something we've always wanted to do. Being able to get visualizations for what the user's actually seeing. This has been a dream of ours for a while. It's really cool technology. We're really excited to give you a preview of that. We're really happy to kind of walk you through this really quick demonstration of AppDynamics. I started off with MapIQ, which helps you understand your distributed topology and all the distributed transactions within there. We showed you Baseline IQ, which helps you understand when things are slow through the semantics of the business, right? No static thresholds. And then we finished with Diagnostic IQ, which is our production diagnostic capability that's part of the entire platform, all the way from our APM solution through infrastructure and up through our end user modules. So thank you very much, John, for giving us that great demonstration. And Jeremy, hopefully we'll get that jacket to you soon.
Well, Adam, hold up here for one second.
Sure.
So a couple things I just want to double click on. First and foremost, for those of you who don't know, Jeremy and the whole European team here dress really well, and they give us Americans every time we come here a hard time about how poorly we dress. So this is why it's seeping through everything we do. More importantly, though, a little bit on the deployment side of this. You talked about how well integrated things are from the end user all the way to the app tier, all the way to the infrastructure, and you guys zoomed in and out relatively seamlessly there. But how do you set this up? Talk about the deployment, because we spend a lot of time, especially given that a lot of these folks are from large enterprises. How do we enable that to happen more effectively?
Great question. So one of the things, as you're deploying thousands of agents, the last thing we wanted to do was, and we add new capability all the time, was to force you to be in this endless deployment cycle. So we built this great technology we call Universal Agent, which helps you easily provision new agent technology without requiring you to go touch the hosts constantly. So we're really excited about that. And again, everything we do is designed for scale. So there's no manual instrumentation. Everything's integrated into the underlying agent technologies through our deployment modules, and you don't have to do a lot of hand editing of configurations and instrumentation.
Great, and that we know is something that you guys have been asking for a long time, especially as we go to tens of thousands of agents, start to take a look at hundreds of thousands of agents.
That's right.
Those automated enterprise-grade deployment and management capabilities is something you'll see more and more of, and you'll see more in the breakout sessions as well. And then scale. Let's talk a little bit about scale. Sure. Again, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands. How do we do this, and how do we continue to scale without bringing down or affecting the production environments?
I mean, that's a great question. One of the things we've been from day one was we all struggled with leveraging production-ready tools. So in production, you have to have extremely low overhead. But even more important, you can't be overwhelmed with all the noise in the system. So AppDynamics Diagnostic IQ is designed to capture things that are only slow, errored, or stalled. And then we extract the rich diagnostic information with really low overhead so that you can actually troubleshoot. So it's about reducing cognitive overload as well as scalability in production.
Great. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
And thanks, John, too.